All right, NFC East is up here. Washington Commanders, they finally found their guy. Now don't get him injured, Washington. Daniels looks like the real deal, but his slender build and leaky O-line could lead to rookie year blues and injuries. What do you think?
When was the last time you heard of a somewhat thin running quarterback in
Slim Reaper?
The Slim Reaper?
The Slim Reaper.
Is that what RJ?
No, that's what Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I know, but that's why I was a little confused when you went to basketball. But no, Robert Griffin III was where my thought process went when I hear underweighted quarterback running in Washington. So I mean he's explosive.
Explosive, skinny, slender build. What I've heard is small shoulders from the beat reporters, so you don't like to hear that, but very quick release, quick thinker, quick processing in the pocket. So new head coach, Dan Quinn from Dallas, defensive-minded head coach, brings in offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury, offensive-minded, of course. This is kind of an interesting offense. I might want a piece of this.
I'm not a Dan Quinn fan at all. I am a Cliff Kingsbury fan. He's a good-looking man.
He is a good, we can't lie. He's a good-looking guy.
He's a good-looking guy, and when he lived in Arizona, he had one.
That photo was unreal. The draft day photo.
Right.
Yeah, we were all jealous of his life.
I mean, who? I think Jaden Daniels will do great until he gets injured. Just like you were saying, watching Robert Griffin III play in his first season, it was fun, electric, and then he goes down, just like every other running quarterback. If you're not 230 pounds or higher. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying that that's the litmus test, but the Josh Allen stays somewhat healthy because he's 240, 250.
Yeah, and if he does go down, back up there is Marcus Mariota. They drafted Sam Hartman, the rookie from Notre Dame. Not great for backups, but you could do worse. The running game is interesting to me. They have Brian Robinson Jr. coming off a very strong season last year, and Austin Eckler, right? So
great upside
guy.
After the
injury history. Things didn't end well in LA. His ADP is incredibly low, so you can get both of these guys very cheap right now. Last year, Austin Eckler was a top 5 running back being drafted in the first round. So very crazy how quickly the tides have turned.
Sleeper.
So,
where's he getting drafted now?
He's right now. You can get Austin Eckler in about the 5th or 6th round. So.
Oh, even that early?
I
still wouldn't target him that early. As much as the Commanders are, I don't want to say that the Commanders are the Commanders. That they're the old. The Washington
we talked about bad ownership. They changed ownership.
Daniel Snyder's finally gone.
Daniel Snyder's finally
gone.
Okay,
so maybe things can change.
Yeah. One of the worst stadiums in the NFL.
I mean, it was leaking feces on people.
So, new ownership group. They're smart. They're bringing in football guys, sports minds, unlike Snyder. So we'll see what happens. I'm interested in the wide receiver room. Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson. We know that Cliff Kingsbury likes his slot receivers. De'Ami Brown. They have Luke McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey's younger brother is now on the team. They drafted him out of Rice. And then Zach Ertz. We talked about him.
Right. I'm a big fan of Zach Ertz.
Big Zach Ertz fan. He's a great fit for this offense.
Big target, good hands.
What do you want as a rookie quarterback? You want that safety valve coming from the tight end position.
If you're going to have to throw the ball in the middle of the field, he's big white hands.
Yep. Yeah, he's your guy. Jahan Dotson. So he's now the primary slot receiver on this offense. I talked about it earlier. Kingsbury likes using his slot receivers. From 2019 to 2022, when Kingsbury was the head coach in Arizona, his slot receivers caught 434 passes, second most during that time frame. And Dotson's going as wide receiver 60 right now. He's practically free. I'm all in on Jahan Dotson. He's the only piece in this offense that I must have. Jaden Daniels is also on my radar as a QB1.
I could pick Daniels as maybe a backup. I could not pick him. You really think would you start him week 1 in your fantasy football?
I would be nervous starting him week 1, but his legs, we talked about before, when you're a fast quarterback, a mobile quarterback, it's a cheat code. You're automatically starting plus 5 or 6 fantasy points over the rest of the quarterback position. So to answer your question, I'm not feeling good about starting him week 1, but I'm comfortable having that draft strategy of a late round quarterback like Jaden Daniels. and building around a strong running back and wide receiver group.
What if I told you I'm going to answer my own question and say I think about it, I would probably start him early before he gets hurt.
Oh,
because then he can run,
yeah,
and then
like
boom,
that.
then he put in his backup or he put
That's
in
smart.
the next running quarterback.
That's smart.
Looking up the lines right now, and we are at the NFC East. The Commanders are at plus 900.
Ooh,
That's value. I would say that's. I honestly, if the Eagles don't do as well as they could, the Cowboys can cowboy. I mean, they always can cowboy.
Yeah, so the Eagles are the no-brainer slam dunk pick.
Minus 120.
If something happens there, if Jalen Hurts gets hurt, no pun intended, I think the Commanders would be one of the surprise teams.
Value. I mean, even just throwing $5 on it.
Yeah.
Like
screaming value right there.
Right. If you pay $5,
Trump
you get
is
50.
doing it right now. He's plugging it in.
5 for 50.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
We'll
have our first ever live bet on the show. All right, so we can go to my team because there's not a whole lot to talk about the Commanders. The New York Giants, baby. Daniel Pennies, a.k.a. Danny Dimes. He looks good in camp, sort of, and a true number one wide receiver. Malik Neighbors, also with a preseason injury. That should help him right the ship in the Meadowlands, but similar to the Raiders, who else can make plays for this offense? They have Devontae Adams. The Giants have Malik Neighbors. Who else?
Their GM.
Their GM.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was
Joe
the star. Yeah, Joe Sheen, the star of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, his kids made that draft pick. They wanted Jaden Daniels. His son wanted Jaden. So, yeah, Daniel Jones, to me, I'm not touching this team. Malik Neighbors is interesting, but Daniel Jones is not the guy. They paid him. They made a mistake. We talked about it earlier. When you're an NFL franchise like the Cleveland Browns and you pay Deshaun Watson too much money, or you're the Giants and you pay Daniel Jones too much money, you need to admit your mistake and move on. It makes it quicker and easier to get back to where you want to be as a franchise. So Daniel Jones is not the guy, but he has some fantasy value. He can run.
Right.
He's got legs. Cheat code. So
same thing, same strategy with picking early,
right.
and then if he doesn't do well, then you just dump him off.
Yeah. So the other wide receivers we want to talk about: Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee, second year, didn't do a lot as a rookie, but showed some flashes. Wan'Dale Robinson, love him in the red zone, short area. He's a possession receiver, PPR machine. Allen Robinson's now there. Darius Slayton.
I like Motor Singletary. You're not a big fan?
So Devin Singletary will be the lead back. He's familiar with this offense. He was in Buffalo when Brian Dable was there, so there's some familiarity there. Tyrone Tracy, the rookie from Purdue, is already injured, but he was on the fast track of taking over that starting running back position. So between him and Eric Gray, they're going to be the backups. Devin Singletary is going to get a lot of touches. He's not going to be efficient. This is not going to be a good offense to invest in, but if you want a starting running back on a team who's probably going to get 10 to 15 touches a game, that's Devin Singletary.
I'm just not buying the Giants. I just can't do it. Vegas is with me at plus 2,000 for the division.
It should probably be plus 5,000. So Daniel Jones, to me, he's the one interesting guy. I think he's a value this year. 2 years ago, he was QB9 in fantasy points per game. He had 700 plus rushing yards, no weapons. They add Malik Neighbors. Jalen Hyatt, like I said, is going into year 2. He should improve. And Wan'Dale Robinson is finally healthy again. If there's one guy I'm taking a shot on, it's Daniel Jones, because I'm going to have that strategy of going late QB.
You would pick Neighbors?
Malik Neighbors is tied to Daniel Jones, so yes, to answer your question, he's fine. But his draft price is way too expensive.
Right.
He's going in rounds 3, 4, and 5 right now in fantasy drafts. It depends on
even with is it a high ankle sprain?
It's a low ankle sprain. They're not worried at all.
Okay.
He's already back practicing. No issues.
Gotcha.
He's a freak. He's a freak talent.
Right.
I'm not saying that Malik Neighbors isn't worth the hype. He certainly is. But when you have a quarterback like Daniel Jones, who's unproven to an extent, I'm hesitant to spend a 3rd or 4th round draft pick on a rookie.
Right. Well, unproven is a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, and you want to talk about wide receiver issues? Dallas Cowboys. So, death, taxes, and Jerry Jones not knowing how to run a successful sports franchise. That's our theme here. CeeDee Lamb and Dak in contract years. And Lamb is already unhappy going into the year. He's holding out now. We are seeing issues. Jerry Jones has said that he's not a priority. That can wait. CeeDee Lamb has said LOL. He's retweeted that. not good. I think Dak Prescott's in for a big year if CeeDee Lamb plays. If he truly holds
a hamstring.
Yeah, exactly. If he truly holds out, they're in trouble. Brandon Cooks is the wide receiver I have my eye on, though. I think he could be sneaky. Jalen Tolbert, I've heard good things out of him. And then what are they doing at running back? They bring back Zeke. They bring back Zeke. I had the same reaction. Yeah, he made it too much in the offseason. So Zeke's going to be the starter. Laugh all you want. He's going to be a legit RB2 all season long if he's the starting running back in this offense.
Yeah, he'll get the carries, he'll get the touches, he'll get the passes. He's a good blocker. I mean, we're laughing. He's a professional athlete. Okay, let's something we've talked about, garbage this, garbage that. If you make it into the NFL, if you make it into any professional league, you're an athlete.
Special.
Okay, so I just want to put that out there. We joke around everyone, saying garbage. This guy stinks. You're a professional athlete. You're better than us.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's tongue in cheek to say the
right.
least.
Right. I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah.
As much as we can say, we're not professional athletes.
So Zeke's there. He's still going to be the starter. Rico Dowdle's there. He's probably the more talented back, but I don't think he's going to see a lot of time because he can't block like Zeke does.
Right.
Two guys I want in this offense, aside from CeeDee Lamb if he plays, Zeke and Brandon Cooks. That's it. And Dak, but that's if CD plays. If CD is out or not himself or tweaks a hammy,
right.
I want no part of this offense.
I've already heard that. I've heard rumblings of receivers in contract years. I think I'm going to take a couple weeks off, and that couple weeks could be your championship.
Yeah, and if you're Dallas, pay the guy. Jerry Jones, what are you doing? CD
he doesn't have enough money. I mean,
30% target share last year. Number 4 in the league.
They're worth $6 billion, I believe, the Cowboys are, and he might have bought them for $10 million.
CD, number 1 in red zone targets last year, number 1 in yards after the catch, number 1 in big plays, 10 or more yard catches. So pay the guy. He's worth the money. He is their offense. He is their team. Just ridiculous.
Vegas has him at plus 160.
I'm out.
I would go with the Commanders over them.
I'm out.
When it comes to value,
Eagles, Commanders, I guess Cowboys, but
yeah, maybe.
The team that I want in that division, the Eagles, they're interesting. One of the best teams in the league.
I mean,
just signed one of the best running backs / playmakers in the entire game. Biggest thighs ever. Saquon Barkley. Good luck, NFC. They bring in offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. Brand new offense for Jalen Hurts.
That I don't like.
That is a little bit nerve-wracking.
It's been, in my opinion of watching football for 30 years now, offensive coordinator being a steady.
Yep.
I'll give you a quick example. Josh McDaniels and Tom Brady.
Yep.
Tom Brady under Josh McDaniels, it was like, not that Tom Brady couldn't play under any offensive coordinator, but just watching him on Ben Roethlisberger under different every other year they would change, and you could see them flux. Ben's last 2 years, they were in Todd Haley. They did not mesh. They did not mesh at all. He did not want to throw those routes, the quick routes, and you could feel it on the field.
Yeah.
And so
so they mix it up. They bring in Kellen Moore. Mixed reviews. Not a great track record recently. The backup there is Kenny Pickett. So if something does happen to Jalen Hurts, you could do worse. He's not a great backup, but obviously Philadelphia liked him. They went out and made a trade for him. Saquon is going to be the king in this backfield. I think he's being drafted too early, though. He's going in the first round ahead of guys like Derrick Henry. I disagree with that. Whenever you have a quarterback like Jalen Hurts and the tush push, he's going to steal those goal line touchdowns away. Those are very valuable.
Did they not ban the tush push? Okay, I know
tush push is still there.
They were talking about that.
Jason Kelly
in the preseason.
retired. Keep an eye on him. If this team struggles halfway through the season, don't be surprised if he comes out of retirement and plays for this team to make the final push. I could see it happening. A lot of videos of him partying and drinking and having fun. He's still in football shape. I'm seeing the same guy. So keep an eye there. Devontae Smith, AJ Brown. Who do you like out of those two? You like Devontae?
Just like you. But I do want to back up for a second.
Yeah.
I like Barkley as if not behind Bijan. He can catch.
Yep.
He can run. And
similar skill set.
He ran the ball behind a New York Giants line.
Horrendous.
Right. So now you're putting him in I never thought I would say the Eagles have a good organization.
Howie Roseman is the best GM in football.
It's scary to say because I have some really obnoxious friends that are Eagles fans, and
I'm saying this.
I mean, is there a reason why there's a jail at the Eagles Stadium, whatever they call it now? It used to be three. Well, no,
oh God, yeah, they're doing things right. It kills me to say that as a Giants fan, but they are.
Yeah.
Good organization. They're run the right way.
Yeah,
Devontae Smith, I like a lot. But to your point, the Eagles O-line ranked first in run block win rate in 2023. Since entering the NFL in 2018, Saquon has averaged 98 total yards per game. That's the fifth most. Put him behind that O-line.
Nick Foles
sweet.
Nick Foles has a ginormous ring on his finger because of that offensive line. Like if you're comfortable, I don't want to say any quarterback. But if you got through college and then you're in professional football and you have 5 guys that are ginormous in front of you and they can do their job, you're gonna have the time to see.
Yeah. One thing about Kellen Moore, he likes to use motion. I'm hearing more motion, pre-snap motion out of this offense. That to me bodes well for Devontae Smith. They can do that with any wide receiver. But if you want to get one guy that's already fast,
like Tyreek.
get him. Like Tyreek Hill. Devontae Smith is that guy. I am all in on Devontae. If you have to choose between these receivers, A.J. Brown going towards the back half of the first round, early second, Devontae Smith going to the back half of the second round, early third, I'll take the cheaper discount price for a wide receiver that I think has equal value going into the season.
I would even, if you're in a snake draft, I would even pick them up like right around, like if you're in 8th, 9th, 10th, on that second round. Just
on that turn.
Just because the upside is there.
Yeah. Agreed. So that wraps up the NFC East. Up next, we have the NFC North, maybe the most interesting division, certainly one of the most competitive in football this year. So stay tuned.